Hello there, everyone. Welcome back. This is Jero over here, or Jero, however you want to call me. Okay, so it's been a bit. I just took a little bit of a break, but I am back with your regularly scheduled programming. Uh, hasn't been too much to say recently. I did put off making the Siegebreaker video a little while. Just didn't have any good ideas for it. There's not too much to say about this class, but we'll go ahead and get into it and see if I can give any helpful tidbits for those who are either confused and or just wanting to know what to do with the class. So, without further ado, um, Siegebreaker, what to say? What to say? It is basically the same as before. However, it gets some nice buffs that you want to work on. Uh, it is far better for active play now. It is not better than Divine Knight or Bubonic Conjure, however, but it is useful to active. What I mean by that is this skill right here. So, the whole class revolves around killing these plunderous mobs through active play. The more plunderous mobs you kill, the higher your DR and XP get um, for all your characters. This is a account-wide bonus, so it is extremely good bonus as well because drop rate is basically the most important stat in the game, or one of the most important stats in the game. Very few can compete with it, just with how ubiquitous drop rate is towards everything in the game. XP, not that useful, but I guess kind of nice. It's whatever. Uh, but the drop rate is insanely strong. And so I highly recommend, even if you don't active play almost at all, I would at least recommend going for, I mean, at bare minimum, 100 plunders mob kills. But realistically, 1,000 plunders mob kills really shouldn't take more than a day or two. The way this bonus works is every power of 10, you get more of the bonus. So it, I really wouldn't go too much over 10k. Later on, in towards the end of World 5, or maybe something gets changed, or if you just really want to, you can go for 100,000 kills, but that'll probably take upwards of like a month or two, so if not longer. How does it work? So you have these are your skills that you want to put on your bar. I don't mention this often enough, but if you want to check which ones you put on your bar, just put assign attacks. You'll forget a lot less often about actually placing your skills on the bar. You need to have the flag down to start spawning plunderous mobs. A lot of people were confused about that when the class first came out. They were just active forever, not realizing that this is indeed an active skill. Uh, these three skills are also quite strong. Um, they just have a lot of clearing power. And then you'll want to have this fairly high leveled. I maxed it. I don't necessarily think you need to. I don't think it adds that much efficiency. But what happens is basically when you kill a plunderous mob, it will then cause all your other mobs to drop coins, which then the flag uses to respawn dead mobs. So basically, all the coins you pick up will add a counter towards your flags. It has like a little respawn counter on top of it, and it will consume these coins on a set interval to spawn mobs, and it's quite quick. So it's not as powerful as the Bubonic Conjures respawn. I argue it's better than Divine Knight's respawn. Um, just because of how quick and the uptime of it. So because the Divine Knight has a like a delay between each full respawn. So as far as skill priorities go, this is going to be your main skill. I suggest getting this to your highest because this is the main use of the class. Uh, and it'll be useful even when you stop activating on the class. So this one is the go-to. Then from there, the pirate flag it'll probably be your next one you want to put a max book into. It just increases the length you can spawn plunderous mobs at. I tried my hardest to get this to be 100% uptime. It doesn't work, and if you were able to spawn a new flag by if you wait and go AFK and get the respawn or get the skill timer all the way down to 0 so you can place another flag. It just resets your flag anyway. So unfortunately, that doesn't work. Plunder Deceased, you'll want this relatively high leveled. You don't want it to be a short cooldown, but you don't need to max it, I would say. Like 200 would be fine here. Suppressing Fire, I suggest maxing as you can, because the additional mobs it hits is very beneficial. Same thing with fire bombs. I actually left this at 100. I should have put this higher. Granted, 7 is probably more than enough mobs, but this was one I actually didn't book yet, and I forgot to book actually. Cannonball, you actually don't need to max this at all if you have sufficient amount of damage, because it doesn't add more mobs hit, so it just adds more damage. If you are lacking in damage, put points into there. And then obviously always Symbols of Beyond. Okay, so for how it benefits sailing, basically it is okay towards sailing, nothing extreme. The captain's gaining more XP is pretty nice. You get to your soft cap on what your captain's level will be, usually around 13, 14 quicker. Pretty nice, but I wouldn't invest points into it. As you see, my the fourth tab doesn't even have that many points, and I mean I have a lot of points to go around. So if you're strapped on points, I really wouldn't focus this. I would put 1 point into it because you get the bonus from Symbols of Beyond, so you'll start at like 12, or if you have this at 220, you'll start at 13. Um, so that's nice. I just wouldn't prioritize it very heavily. Same thing with the Sailing XP. It's just not that useful in the long term. This one is a bit of a different talent, so it is a bit confusing by the tooltip. I completely agree with that. It is getting changed a little bit to make it a little bit less confusing. But basically, the way this works is wherever your loot pile's max is, 1 minus that. So let's say you have 10 max on your loot pile. At 9 chests, instead of the 10th chest being applied, like instead of the 10th chest being deposited, it will instead apply to try to upgrade your previous chests. So you will never get that 10th chest. However, it will attempt to upgrade your other chests, sort of like how upgrading eggs works in breeding. So basically, let's say you get like an iron chest, it can try to upgrade that to a gold chest. It's a fairly low chance, so it's not like a huge increase at all. So again, if you're lacking on points, don't really focus too hard into it. As completely separately, this also just gives you 47.1 chest loot, sort of like the lamp does. Again, not an insanely huge increase compared to some other sources, and I think this is additive with lamp. I haven't actually looked at that formula yet. Basically, my assessment is don't focus too hard on this. If you're going to go, if you're favoring long AFKs towards your sailing, uh, put 1 point into this. Or, I mean, if you want more chest loot, you can put more points into it. Putting more points into it doesn't increase the odds of getting higher chests, as far as I understand this. So I don't really think that, and even if it does increase the odds of getting more chests, is really not that great. So just, you know, put points into it if you have the points, but don't focus on that too hard. What you're really getting on Siegebreaker for is these plunderous mobs. So you're going to want to focus your talent points towards the active skills, which get you more kills per hour. This is basically just to get more loot, which is helpful in the long term, and you could start focusing points onto it later, but I wouldn't prioritize it if you're mid or early on. As far as this weapon power talent goes, it's okay. Nothing crazy, but weapon power is weapon power. And the other skills, basically, we have for all the other classes. So you would put them on like a skilling build, or if you need more, or if you have excess talent points. Quick note of the Family Guy. A lot of people actually don't understand how this talent works, so I guess I'll go through it quickly. This bonus is only beneficial to the character you have it leveled on. So leveling this only increases the bonuses I'm getting from this character for this character. So it would slightly boost the agility I gained. It would slightly boost my active XP gained. However, Lava was nice and had this this bonus is actually account-wide, so this bonus also applies to the account-wide bonus. Um, so that is, and it should be applied all the time. Like the Family Guy bonus, like if I have this leveled on this character and I go to my Blood Berserker, the Family Guy bonus will still be applied. Usually with Family Guy, it only applies when you're active on that character. So hopefully that makes sense. It's a little bit of a confusing skill, even when I'm trying to explain it, but that is how that works. And due to that, I don't prioritize this very highly. So, anywho, you could use your regular other skills. This is the current skill bar I had going. Uh, Flag is your highest priority. Then the Big Bomb and the Shrapnel, just because they have really low cooldowns. Homing arrows is pretty good now. They got buffed to not attack the same target 15 different times after it was dead. Piercing arrow just has a high hit count, and magic short bow and the bomb skill. And you'll want these two. Extendo Rangio, probably not that useful, to be honest. I could probably take this off the bar and not lose anything. But if you need the accuracy, go for it. As far as weapons is concerned, or gear, I mean, obviously just go for your best gear. This is one of the classes that you can use a spear on it, but for majority of players, I wouldn't recommend it. The thing is, the bow is okay, and if you're not speed capped or close to speed capped on the spear, even though the spear is instantaneous, so generally better, you might lose out on kills per hour due to that if you're just not speed capped. With the mages is far easier to speed cap with the spear, but archers are gonna have some trouble, and it's not worth putting attack speed chains on keychains. So use the bow if you want. It's cool. It's fine. Use the spear if you think you can. It's better in some cases, worse in others. So other than that, there's not too much to say about the class. Like I said, I do highly recommend getting onto it and getting this multiplicative DR up. It is pretty great. After that, just build it for AFK. Currently, that's what I did. I'm just AFKing through World 5 mobs now. I don't think focusing on Plunderous mobs to 100k is a good use of time, basically, because this would only increase this to about 3 point or another 3.7, going from 10k to 100k. So I'm looking at like 18% or like 18-19% uh multiplicative DR instead of like 15. It's just not that useful. So, and honestly, this is only slightly higher because I have the Bear God on right now. Once I take that off, it'll even go slightly lower. So it's just not worth pushing that 100k in my opinion. Too time consuming. Maybe later on I'll reassess that if you're close to like DR breakpoints, but just farming on Divine Knight is generally better, or Bubo, depending on what you need. But I do think it's a pretty interesting class overall. I do like being able to hop onto this if I really want to increase DR by a little bit. And active Bowman was never terrible, so pretty okay. Otherwise, yeah, it's just gonna be your go-to AFK class due to the insane damage they can get. This isn't even remotely high, honestly. I'm in AFK build right now, so yeah. Hopefully that helped clear up a couple things. I do know that this unending loot search was giving me some questions, so I wanted to release that video. And yeah, like I said, I don't think I'm saying anything particularly revolutionary with this video, so I was wondering if I should even make it. But for consistency's sake, hopefully that helps clear up some things. Uh, as far as next videos go, I have nothing planned yet. I did see the video contest Lava's hosting, so I've been brainstorming about that. If anyone has any ideas, if they want to throw me an idea for that, sure. Or if they have any ideas for things I actually want to see. Otherwise, I may or may not release another video before Elemental Sorcerer comes out. I definitely release one for that, depending on well, I mean, I'll release one just again for consistency's sake, and just to get some uploads in. Maybe I can again help people out with some questions they have. So, anywho, I will see you guys in the next one. Hope this helps.